Hi, everybody. My name is Bill Hinton. I am the new camp director at YMCA Camp Hayo-Went-Ha, and I'm really excited to be here. I have over 20 years of Y Camp experience. I ran camps in Texas, the Grand Rapids Y Camp in Oklahoma, and in Colorado. And one of the things that has connected me to Hayo-Went-Ha is I have been a Hayo-Went-Ha parent for 7 years. My son Luke has been going to Hayo-Went-Ha for 7 years. He's kind of been on the sailing track. This year he is in the Leaders Corps, our LC program, and he's pretty pumped about coming to camp and maybe getting hired at second session. So I've got a special, I have a really unique connection. I've seen camp from a parent's perspective. If you guys want to if you got questions to put in the chat, we'll also open up at the end to kind of go from there. So this is the Viking Outpost group. And so we've got, this is our trip is to the Porcupine Mountains up in the UP. And it's a 7-day hiking trip. So we are, we'll have 2 groups going at a time. So one group will start in Presque Isle, and then the other one will start in Union Bay, and they will crisscross. They'll probably maybe even spend the night together sometime in the middle, probably a little Carp River Trail. So we have all the permits, all that stuff is taken care of. So it's we do want to make sure that you are looking at the packing list. The packing list is up on our website. If you go to the parent resources page, it's a pretty good hike. And so you've got to have good hiking shoes. And it's really important that you use you break in your hiking shoes before you get to camp. So you want to put those on. You want to walk around the house, go on the trail, the rails to trail by your house, walk around the park. You just don't want to have non-broken hiking boots for a trip like this. So they are on their feet a lot. We also always do a shakedown, which is a practice trip. It's done on the Hayo-Went-Ha property. And they really it's so they can fit their backpacks, learn how to put up their tents, learn how to use the safety precautions on the camp stove. And they spend kind of one night out on the backside of our property. And then they
field trip.
they will end up going, then they'll be headed out. So pretty great. The food on the trip is, so we want the trip shack where they get all their stuff. We've got 2 trip shack leaders and their division leaders will help them put together their menu. They'll do some freeze-dried food. They'll also do some other food, so that they have to think about weight. And so they will make decisions as a group and as a cabin on what they are taking. So they're going to split the tent up between 3 people, the poles, the rainfly, and then the main section. And someone's going to carry the stove and all sorts of stuff, but they also need to carry their personal equipment as well as the majority of their food. We want to teach the boys how to have a love for hiking. So that's a good skill to learn. We also, on this trip, we always send a wilderness first responder. All of our staff are wilderness first aid certified, but this is one step higher. So we have our wilderness first responders that go on this as well. There was a question about the COVID policy. So we are, our COVID protocol via the state licensing has lessened a little bit. We're doing a little less masks, a little less cohorting, a little more back to normal, though we are still being cautious. So we are recommending that all of our campers be vaccinated and fully boosted. The trips that are going to Canada, this is not one, but all of the trips that go to Canada are required to be vaccinated. If we have, when we are going and we're out in the public, so when they're headed up to the UP and they stop at a gas station, we're going to ask our campers to put on masks when they're out in the public, because we're trying to create a bubble of safety, so that we're asking everyone to have a negative test before they come to camp. 48 hours before they come to camp. It can be a rapid test, and we can go there. We actually are taking delivery with, I just got confirmation of the order that we have been provided 1,600 tests from the state of Michigan to be able to test anybody that we want during camp. So we'll split those 800 and 800 between the boys and girls camp, and we will go from there. So if there is an outbreak or someone tests positive, we have a complete protocol that happens. You can read that. It's on our website. It's our health and safety plan. I will just say that there'll be masking and tests and parent phone calls and all sorts of things. But if you want to read those details, go onto our parents' our parent resources page and look at the health and safety plan, or you can email me directly and I can send it to you if you want lots and lots of detail. Let's see. What weeks will the boys be going on their hike trip? I can actually look at that on my schedule. I should have got this out earlier. So if they're in session 1, Viking Outpost leaves on the 27th, which is the 2nd week, and they come back the middle of the 3rd week. So they get about a week and a half at both ends. That's 2nd session. 1st session is almost exactly the same. So they leave on the middle of the 2nd week, and they get back on the middle of the 3rd week. So it's right smack dab in the middle of camp. It's actually an awesome time for them to be able to do that. The dates are 1st session, they leave on June 29th and return on July 6th. They will have July 4th on the trail. And then 2nd session, they leave on the 27th of July, and they get back on the 3rd of August. So that is their trip up to the Porcupine Mountains. Was there another question at the top?
Yeah, Bill, the question was campers and staff. So every cabin has 2 counselors and 8 campers that go with them on this trip.
Yep. So there are 2 counselors. One of them will be a woofer, wilderness first responder, and the other one will have wilderness first aid. And they'll head up. There are 8 campers, and what will probably they'll go up as both cabins together. We'll drop the first group at the more southerly point. Then the other one will go on, drop them, and then they'll start walking towards each other. So kind of a fun deal, and it's fun to like be walking in the middle of the woods and like come around the bend, and they're your other friends, which is kind of a fun thing that can happen. So I also we do have this session is full, but we also have some marketing opportunities. We have some openings in our younger campers, and if you have a friend or a neighbor, someone you go to church with or go to school with, that you think would be great at Hayo-Went-Ha, we have a we have a referral program going on right now. So if you refer someone to first session, you'll get $200 for the camp store, and then also a limited edition YMCA Camp Hayo-Went-Ha flag with our heritage logo. It's a one, we're not selling it in the store. It's the only way to get it. And then if you get someone for the second session, you get $100 in the store, and then you get a flag. So if you know anybody, word of mouth is our best marketer. You guys are moms and dads, and talking to each other is the best way to help more kids go to camp. So we want to do that. I want to see if there are any other questions. You can either put it in the chat or you can unmute and just go ahead and ask me. Seems like everybody's kind of cooking along.
Yeah, we do have a couple of questions in the chat, but I've been messaging that family, Bill, and
Okay.
I'll get that details to you, and maybe a call tomorrow if
Okay.
you're available would be great. Yeah,
great. And will you throw my email in the chat, just so if people want to email me directly, or I'm more than happy to do that. This is a lot of times this is a big hiking trip. It's the first kind of big hiking trip that you might take. So there's a little bit of nervousness, but our Trip Shack folks and our counselors really work to make sure they feel comfortable. The time between the camp spots is not, it's not crazy. Sometimes on our Isle Royal trip, our bigger hiking trip, there are sometimes some longer days that happen. This one is pretty consistent, and so you can kind of get into a rhythm, which is really nice. And it's absolutely beautiful. Someone did ask, but you should have a good sleeping bag. It does get cold in the a little cooler in the night, but you don't need like a big down one that's kind of crazy. So, all right. Well, I'll stick around for a little bit longer. Happy to answer any other questions, and I don't want to take too much more of your time tonight. But we're really looking forward to camp. The trees are starting to get green, and the water is on, and we are ready for campers and staff to show up. So it's going to be a great summer.
Yeah, it's starting to feel like summer too, right? Today was one of our first really, really nice warm days. So
yeah, absolutely.
Summer is coming.
Yeah.
Well, I might stop the record. Oh, Alex has a question.
Sorry, I was just giving a thumbs up that it was almost summer.
Oh, yeah, great. Yep. Yeah, that is a thumbs up. That wasn't a hands up. So thanks, Alex. Well, I might stop the recording, Bill. And
yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.